Konnichiwa. My name is Gabriele Glang, and since April I've been taking Japanese lessons, and my teacher tells me, Gabi, my nickname, is easier for you to pronounce. So, Gabi des. So, the tango of painting with pulp. Painter, poet, artist's bookmaker. I am a German-American bilingual poet, painter, and maker of artists' books. In my writings, I express what you might refer to as mono no aware. The Germans call this Weltschmerz, a painful awareness of life's transience. What emerges in my paintings is the sentient joy of being alive. The Germans say Lebensfreude. You might know the French expression joie de vivre. Perhaps you know the English saying, a picture paints 1,000 words. For me, the artist's book is a medium that marries the image and the word, a way to create a story that can be understood on many levels, intuitively as well as visually. Even without words, an artist's book can transmit an emotional narrative in a powerful way. This marriage of the visual and the literary is the leitmotif of my bilingual life, corresponding to the forces that have influenced my work as an editor, graphic designer, screenwriter, film translator, and creative writing and painting teacher. These two forces are like two springs that have formed a single river within me, my creative wellspring. As a painter, my main focus has always been on the landscape. For many years, I painted en plein air, outdoors, almost exclusively with chalk pastels in a representational manner. So on this slide, you can see this is pastel landscape. This is an example of an artist's book. And this is a funny little sculpture with my poetry, the poet speaking poetry. And these crumpled up pieces are attempts that have failed, poems that don't work. And this artist's book tells the story of a hailstorm in my garden pond. It's a leporello, an accordion book that is telling a story on both sides, so you can, it's like an endless story, a cycle. And here you see the beautiful lily pad and the lily itself, the blossom, and here is the hailstorm, which destroys the lily pads and creates chaos in the pond, and then everything dissolves. Mm-hmm. And then there's rebirth, it grows again, and then you have the cycle that goes round.
Hi.
Invention, reinvention. But for the last decade, I have slowly been growing in new directions, using new materials and techniques, including mokulito, collage, monoprinting, and pulp painting. In fact, I no longer use pastels, giving them up entirely during the pandemic, when my husband was diagnosed with leukemia and died after 9 months in the hospital. During this traumatic period, I too had a tumor. This violent turning point in my life signified both a terrible end and a frightening beginning. Painting and writing carried me through these dark years, became my compass, helped me develop resilience. I would even say my creative work helped to heal my soul. I am constantly reinventing myself and my art. I now paint mostly in the studio, mostly abstract, tending toward the expressionistic and the gestural. Rather than a well-rendered copy of the landscape, what I seek to express is my emotional response to it. In this, I strive for an economy of expression, simplicity coupled with precision, just as a haiku is written. Microcosm and macrocosm. The source of my inspiration has remained a constant, Mother Nature. I am interested in natural phenomenon as manifested in both the microcosm and the macrocosm. For years, my garden pond has provided the perfect laboratory for observation and artistic experimentation, the universe in miniature. Here I can observe the changing seasons, shifts in weather, the plants and birds, the insects and the animals inhabiting my little village in southern Germany. Here I encounter the small miracles of daily life, the shimmering seeds of trees floating on the water, which repeat the pattern of stars reflected on its dark surface by night. In the last 2 years, I have made painting trips to Alaska and Iceland. These vast boreal landscapes speak to me of the macrocosm. They teach me awe and humility in the face of wilderness. Mother Nature's iron laws, her unhinged violence, her indifference to humankind. The Arctic's ominous rawness, untamability, unaccountability, and fragility fascinate me. The unexpected beauty of northerly landscapes mesmerizes me. The unnameable blue of icebergs in a glacial lagoon. Gigantic waterfalls hurtling down fathomless chasms. The dervish dance of the sea hurling itself against ragged coastlines. All this quickens my pulse, sends adrenaline rushing through my body. Next to my fear of avalanches, mudslides, earthquakes, forest fires, and volcanic eruptions, catastrophes in general, there is this. The aurora borealis, gently unfurling its neon green veil across night's velvet sky. Seaside clusters of cotton grass, their tufts fluttering in a salty wind. The curlew's nervous calls accompanying my hillside sketching among ripening blueberries and purple heather. Receding tides leaving pale rippled lines of flotsam on black sand. And always, always, the cycle of seasons guides and teaches me, inspires and lifts me from one day to the next. The passion for pulp. In 2017, I attended my first course in Western papermaking with American artist John Gerard, an expat like me, and one of the founders, the last living founder, in fact, of the International Association of Papermakers and Artists. I was instantly entranced, immediately sensing I had found my medium. Here was a means to express my love of the word, poetry, and the image, painting, by making artists' books. Since then, I have returned to Gerard Paperworks annually, a 5-hour drive from my house. In fact, 1 year I went twice. Thanks to John Gerard's mastership and excellent guidance, I consider him to be my mentor and pulp master, my sensei. With each working visit, I have deepened my understanding of, and my passion for, the material. With pulp as my artistic medium, material and content become one. With every visit, my visions and formats become grander, bigger, braver. Each time I go to Gerard Paperworks, I experience the most exquisite joy, a rush of adrenaline flooding me. In between moments of indecision, uncertainty, panic, when I don't know what to do next, I have learned to trust the material and myself, to let go, to simply be a bowl of pink glaze shimmering along the edge of a dusky indigo horizon. Every time I head home after a deeply satisfying week of pulp painting at John Gerard's workshop, I'm already daydreaming about my next trip and the paintings I want to make. Awagami dreams. A year ago, in September, I decided to get some experience making thin scroll paintings using abaca pulp for the first time, once again under John Gerard's tutelage. I thought this would be good practice in the event that the Awagami Factory accepted my application for an artist's residency. I owe thanks to Norwegian artist Ellie Prestegård, whom some of you might know because she has been a resident artist at Awagami 4 times. She strongly encouraged me to apply, something I had been dreaming about for years. What she told me was, do it. Don't wait. Get into a panic about it. And here I am, a visiting artist resident at the Awagami Factory, a surprise and a tremendous honor, and a bit frightening, a long-held dream come true. For the coming month, I look forward to learning more about the Japanese way of papermaking. I hope I will be able to realize my project of making a dozen large format paintings. The working title of this suite of pulp paintings is Mono no Aware. I'm delighted and grateful to meet and learn from the staff at Awagami, even though my Japanese can scarcely be called survival level. And of course, I can't wait to embark on this adventure of making large format paintings using kozo pulp. The tango of pulp painting. And what, you might ask, does pulp painting have to do with the tango? In January of this year, following another long-held dream, I began taking Tango Argentino lessons. Despite being a complete novice, I fell in love with the music, the movements, the silent dialogue between leader and follower, the elegance and gracefulness of two dancers moving as one. The best way to learn tango is to close your eyes. Thus, you learn to focus on your sensations, your partner's movements, the music's rhythm, the melody line. You forget everything else around you, concentrating only on the dance. Now, after some months of lessons, I see tango as a metaphor for many things. While incubating ideas for what I want to make at Awagami, it occurred to me that dancing the Tango Argentino is not unlike painting with pulp. The fibers have a will of their own. The material, be it cotton, hemp, abaca, kozo, is the leader. In our dance, between pulp and me, the pulp invites me into a space that allows me to respond. My job is to wait, attentive and awake, for the leader's subtle shifts of weight, direction, pressure, touch. I must be open to these signals, which are invitations to invent and improvise, to unfold, to add grace notes. It is I who must follow the flow of the leader's movements, as if these were a current of water, a swirl, an eddy. There's true bliss, I assure you, in such self-forgetfulness, in such a state of flow. The pulp becomes my tango partner, allowing me to respond until pulp, colors, my vision all meld into one, a single entity that dances to an inner music, an inner grace. I hope I can develop and express my vision here at Awagami, a vision that may, perhaps, move the hearts of others. And don't be alarmed if I should suddenly begin to dance silently. I am listening to an inner music, my heart's melody. Thank you for your kind attention.
はい、どうもご清聴ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。